Welcome to the show, HASSDISCUSSES. I'm the host, Michael Haspin, host of HASSDISCUSSES and the creator of the Mike Media Incorporated channel. I am joined by Stan Wong, a filmmaker, writer, director, producer, and he's currently the director of The Real American, the Evan Thompson story, and I was glad to have been a part, being production assistant of the film. He's directed numerous short films, and he is the creator of Infinite Fountain Productions. Thank you for coming on the show, Stan.
Thank you, Mike, for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. So, how did you first become the director of The Real American, and what went into creating that film?
So, in November of 2020, we were all locked down in COVID, and I was stuck at home. I had been developing my science fiction feature film, Departure. And if anybody wants to see the vertical slice of that, it's at www.departuremovie.com. And that's a short 10-minute slice of that film. But so that came to a sudden halt because of the pandemic. So I was not able to continue developing that film. And we got a call kind of out of the blue from Lieutenant Colonel Chris Beckman, retired Air Force. And he said that his friend, Evan Thompson, had just passed away the month before in October of 2020. And there was going to be a memorial for him, and they were looking for a video production company that could come out and shoot a video for the family. Because the Air Force was going to do a missing man formation flyover. And at the time, we were very, very broke. That'd be a word for it. We didn't have any funds. And so we started looking for sponsors to see if anybody would be willing to sponsor, a private video for the family. And we couldn't find any. Everybody was real tight on cash at the time. So I came up with the idea of, hey, why don't we make a documentary? And I researched the story a little more and found it really interesting. And decided, let's make a documentary out of this. And moving forward on that, I started thinking about how I would tell the story. And one of the things I was really concerned about at the time was how divided the country was. The left and the right, the race issues, all that stuff. People were just at each other's throats. I mean, neighbors were pit against neighbors. People literally living next door to each other were fighting. So that really concerned me. I wanted to do something that could help people start talking to each other again, no matter their political stance. I think we can all try to get along. And understand each other's concerns without hating on each other.
Yeah.
So I figured with this documentary, with the story of Evan Thompson, if we were able to focus on hope, right? And what better example for hope than our American heroes?
Yeah.
And that was what Evan Thompson was all about. Evan Thompson was out there waving his flag, and he did that for 45 years at his ranch, with the jets flying over. And that's some dedication to do that for 45 years.
Yeah.
And he paid homage to our military and our military heroes. And so the format of the anthology for the film seemed like it made all the sense in the world. So we have the through story of Evan Thompson and his patriotism to our nation with the four heroes. Chris Beckman, who's personally connected. Chris Beckman was the person who contacted us for the Air Force flyover memorial. And he himself has a very heroic story of a mission he accomplished in Afghanistan. So there's his story and the story of Scott Mann, who was probably the most recent heroic story. Scott Mann was a retired Green Beret who, during the evacuation in Afghanistan, because it was conducted so quickly, a lot of the Afghan people that helped us, that helped the military, the translators, the Afghan army troops that were fighting side by side with us against the Taliban, against the terrorists, they were all going to be left behind. So Scott Mann did what he could through his civilian contacts and his veteran contacts, and rescued over 700 Afghans to escape Afghanistan, because they're all being hunted down by the Taliban right now. So there's still a lot of them over there being hunted by the Taliban, but Scott was able to get over 700 of those people out, and I believe there's still attempts on rescuing the rest of them. But there's his story, and then there's the story of Doris Miller, which you were involved in. Doris Miller is the African American sailor, Navy sailor, who in World War II, even though he wasn't trained on, firing a weapon, or really wasn't kind of allowed to, when the Japanese attacked at Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941, he instinctively went and grabbed the anti-aircraft gun and started firing on the Japanese bombers. He'd never been trained on one, but it didn't take much for him to just make that heroic decision and shoot down those Japanese bombers and saved a lot of sailors. He tried to save his captain also, but unfortunately his captain passed away on that ship. So there's that story, and then ultimately there's the story of Heather Penny and the passengers of United Flight 93 on 9/11, where Heather was part of the DC International Guard stationed at Andrews Air Force Base. And a lot of your audience probably don't know this, but before September 11th, 2001, none of the aircraft, none of the fighter jets in the Air National Guard or the Air Force within the United States had any armament, had any missiles or bombs or guns on their planes, because really we didn't see a need for it. Right? We've never had an attack on U.S. soil, on the continental U.S.
from another country since 1812. Yeah,
exactly. So we never that was just never thought of as a something that would happen. So when we were attacked by the terrorists, they were asked to scramble and take down the commercial jets that were the weapons that were using to harm us. So they made Heather and her flight leader, Sass, decided the only way they could take down a jumbo jet was to fly into them. And they made that decision as they took off to go intercept the passenger jets. But of course that never happened. And really the true heroes of that day were the passengers on Flight 93. And I thought that would be a great way to round it up, to finish the story, to show that it's not just military heroes, that stand out, that are willing to risk their lives, to defend our freedom and democracy. Those passengers on the flight were civilians. And they were from all walks of life. They weren't just Republicans. They weren't just Democrats. They were both. They weren't just white. They weren't just black. They were both. And they were able to come together and, as civilians. They did not take an oath to defend our country. They were just Americans. and they came together and they took down and they fought and took down the terrorists,
That's what I'm.
sacrificing their own lives.
That's what I'm trying to. I'm kind of getting out of like what all these stories are is that there's no when someone is like brutally attacking you, or when someone's brutally attacking people around you and brutally attacking like your country, there's no right or left. In that scenario, there is none. All the Twitter arguments, there's none of that circling. Should be circling through your head as you make a decision. It's like live or die,
Exactly.
live and protect the ones you love. In that moment, that's what you got to be thinking about. You like, and that's. It seems like the film's ending up in a neutral point of view, and that's good.
Exactly, and you know the point of the film is to try and remind people we shouldn't. It shouldn't take a war. It shouldn't take an attack on us for us to understand that. For us to understand that, you know, the people that are with us, the people that are on our team, the people that, you know, that we live together with, are not our enemies. You know, just because they have a difference of opinion, when it comes down to it, they're going to be the ones that are at our side fighting. They're going to be the ones that are at our side. You know, through it all, because freedom and democracy is what we all believe in, and that's important. That's important for us to reflect on. It's important for us to think. Why do we need an attack for us to understand that? Why do we need a war? Why do we need, you know, why can't we just understand that we're all on the same side here? You know, we all believe in America. We all believe in freedom and democracy. And just because somebody has a different view, you know, I don't like people that burn the flag, but you know what? They have the right to do that. It's in the freaking Constitution.
Yeah.
You know, I absolutely detest it, but you know, the better way to look at something like that is to try and figure out why they're burning the flag, right? And put yourself in their shoes and try and figure that out instead of hating on them. Have a conversation with them. Try and convince them not to burn a flag, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
You know? The more you antagonize them, the more flags you're gonna burn.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of my take. It's let's just all start talking and you know, focusing on hope. You know, I think I think since 9/11, there's been we've been gripped in fear. We're, you know, and the way to defeat fear is with hope. All this divisiveness stems from fear. It's plain and simple. Because if you step back, if you ask people, they're gonna have their reasons. Oh, it's because of you know, Black Lives Matter, or it's because of you know, the environmental issue, or it's because they look at the micro issue. They don't look at the macro issue. The macro issue is basically fear. That's all it is. If you step back and just look at it, it's just fear. And how do you defeat fear? With hope. Simple as that.
Now I really understand why you're making the movie. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like hella respectable, and it's gonna have a big like impact when it releases. When are you aiming for it to release?
Well, as quickly as possible. You know, we've been trying to get these interviews. We're looking for people. We're actively, my producers and I are actively trying to pin down interview dates all over the country, really. And these people are very busy. You know, they're heroes. They're American heroes. So they have important things to do. They've got important, you know, work of their own that they have to attend to. So, you know, so we have to be patient to make sure that we're not interrupting in their efforts of what they're trying to do. But at the same time, we're trying to get it done as soon as possible. So I'm hoping by the end of the year. So, you know, we're working on it.
I have a question though. What were you saying? Sorry.
You know, Veterans Day was a target.
Ooh, that would have been good.
Yeah, not sure we can make that, but we're doing our best. Yeah.
With the is there going to be like a lead interviewer or a lead narrator in the film, or are you gonna let it speak for itself?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna have a host. So in the trailer, the
That
host is
guy,
Nate.
yeah. I know you're talking about the guy who's.
Yeah, Nate Boyer. He's an amazing, amazing talent. He played football for University of Texas. He played football for Seattle Seahawks for very short time. And he's an ex-Army Green Beret also himself. So he's a great talent. But he's a very busy man too. So we're gonna see, perhaps, if he's available, we'll get him to come on and narrate or host the anthology. If not, we may find somebody else. So we're kind of looking into that. But he's a great host.
He seemed very like good at like speaking, like public speaking.
Absolutely.
In the trailer, like I was like, that's a host there,
Yeah. Nate's great. I mean, he's got a lot going on himself. He's got a show that he's working on. He was just in a movie, I think with The Rock. I'm not sure exactly.
That's cool.
He's a big actor himself. So.
Oh, he's an actor.
Yeah, he's an actor. He's a producer. He's a director. He does it all.
Yeah. A lot of things going on. That's good. So talk about how you formed Infinite Fountain Productions.
So that was back in 2014, I believe, and I had just made my first short film. So I wrote my first script in about 2011, 2012. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was not involved in film before. It was the first thing I'd ever done in writing or film or anything to do with that. But I wrote the script, and a friend of mine helped me shoot it. And we came back. I was living in New York at the time. Came back to Austin. We shot the short film, and I completely fell in love with the process and filmmaking. I decided that's what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. I dropped it. I mean, I was making a lot of money, so I had made a lot of money, but it didn't make me happy. I didn't really, I didn't feel fulfilled. So I decided film is what really is gonna, is my path for the rest of my life. I'm just gonna keep trying, keep doing it until I make a great film. The Real American will be my first feature, and then Departure will be hopefully my second scripted. It will be my first scripted feature. But so after I made that decision that I was going to drop everything else and do film, then I created Infinite Fountain Productions. We didn't really have a path to revenue.
Yeah.
I just wanted to learn as much as I could. We got equipment. I needed to learn. I knew there was so much that I needed to learn when I was on set shooting my first short film. I was like, I need to learn how to write. I need to learn how to direct. I need to learn about, all this equipment. I need to learn about how a camera works.
So you didn't go to school?
No.
You just did it.
This is all self-taught. So, and it's just doing it. You just got to do it. We did. My nieces and I started a YouTube channel, and we did narrative videos. We shot one video a week for an entire year, so 52 videos. And the thing about that is, a lot of people say, yeah, what big deal is YouTube? People post one video a day sometimes on YouTube.
Yeah.
But when it comes to narrative content, it's different. With scripted content,
it's not just shoot. You have to write everything down before.
Exactly. You have to write it. You have to
storyboard.
You have to produce it, and you have to post it. Go to post production and edit it. So that was very challenging because it wasn't the format that was meant for YouTube, right? YouTube is like podcasts and YouTubers and just stuff that that's very easily done.
More Truman Show-esque.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Exactly. Yeah, like it's a reality show basically.
Yeah.
We we were creating narrative content, one film a week. So that was very challenging, but it was a lot of fun. And that year, that was the most tiring year of my life, probably. So,
but it was a good hurdle.
We didn't get any sleep.
But I bet it was a good hurdle though for you in getting started and pushing through.
Yeah. But we learned a lot that year. We learned a lot. So that was great. And then so we've been just shooting short films ever since, and working on this project. I'm trying to get the first feature off the ground. So
that's what people don't understand about like a lot of the bigger filmmakers that have like gotten good like feature films out or like something like that. They did years of just tireless nothingness, like of just working on a bunch of random shit they didn't even know if was like worth their time, and they probably quit 20 times before like actually even making like the thing that they want to do. Because I remember when I was like 14 and I was like yo, I'm gonna start making films and shit. I've made so much unreleased short films. I probably have like 7 unreleased short films, and nobody's ever gonna see them because like now just until like a year ago is when I decided to like release narrative sort of content that I thought was like good to see. And now not until this year I'm working on a fucking feature film. Not until this year, But that's why I'm glad I have like other alternative like forms of creating that I've been able to like work at. Like what other like things besides directing and writing that are creative are you a fan of doing?
Why aren't you releasing your 7 short films?
Because they're all like, they're not worth releasing. Like that's really all there is to it.
I wouldn't say that. I would put them, just put them on YouTube, or if you have a website, just put them on your website. I mean, you can have a little explanation. I did this when I was 14. I did this when I was 15.
I might soon, but I might like hide. Like I might put them out, but hide them. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, why do you want to hide them? I mean, just you have to. Don't be ashamed of your work. My first film, Lonely. I don't know if you saw it on the website, on the Infinite Fountain website. ifpbox.com, but that was I'm not that proud of that, but a lot of people still say they like it.
You might be like, all right, I'm gonna go on my Google Drive later today, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna go on my Google Drive today and think about that.
Yeah, you should post it. I mean, you never know. I mean, there's always an audience for something, and put it out there, dude. You gotta put your work out there. No matter how bad you think it is.
That's why this next movie I'm gonna work on, I'm not holding back. Like I'm putting it out whether or not whether I think it's bad or good. I know I'm putting it out. Like with this next thing, and I'll talk to you about that off camera. You know what I'm saying? But
and so that's why you should put the seven movies you got out right now, because
amp up the confidence.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to ensure that this movie you're working on now is going to be out, then you got to release the other 7 first.
Thank you, bro. Digital handshake. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do that. You don't understand how much fuel you're giving me, man. Like it's like before you get in a zombies game on this. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
You play any video games or nothing? Or
so yeah, do that, dude.
Do you play any video games like in general?
Oh, no, I used to. Don't have time for it anymore.
That's good.
Because video games, I remember I set out an entire, at least a weekend, and just play nonstop. Because that's how you play a video game. I don't have time to do that anymore.
Yeah, I just do it when people are over. Other than that, like I'm on behind the computer, because I got music to make. I got like deadlines for like music and just other this, then, and third. If you ever need a soundtrack person, let me know. But anyways. So I was gonna ask film school or no film school, and you probably kind of just told me self-taught. But what's your opinion on that? Would you ever like tell someone to go to film school if they want to, or like what do you think people should do?
Yeah, absolutely. I think film school is good. I mean, there's a lot you can learn in film school, but there's a whole ton of stuff you're gonna learn once you're done with film school. So film school is a good start. It's a good foundation, to get started. And probably more important than what you learn is who you meet.
Yeah.
Film school can put you in touch with fellow collaborators, fellow filmmakers who have that same passion, but also, people that they bring to, that speak in class, and you're going to meet people that you may have a harder time meeting, out there on your own. But once you start working, you're going to meet people. So,
yeah,
I'm not going to say, I think film school is definitely a good foundation. But if you don't have the money for it, or you don't, you want to go straight into just making stuff, that's a way to go too. So I'm not going to say one way or the other. It's all good as long as you're learning. And that's really important, And also, the thing about, there's so many things you can do in film. You don't have to be just a writer or director or producer. There's so many things you can do.
Makeup artist,
Accountant.
accountant.
Grip, gaffer, camera op, and they're all creative. Set design, props, all that stuff. You need to be creative to do all that stuff. And as a director,
VFX,
you need to be open-minded and work creatively and collaboratively with every department.
Yeah.
You just say, I want it my way, and that's it. Like with, and I think they say that even the biggest budget films in Hollywood, the $200 million films, what the director sees in his head before the film's made is at the best 50% of what actually gets shot, at best, and that's with a $200 million budget.
Yeah.
So with independent filmmakers like us, I think at best we get 10% of what we see in our head. Sometimes less than that. And it's because, and there's nothing wrong with that, because a lot of times with the collaboration of all the other filmmakers on set, and with the actors too. The actors is one, very, very important part of the creative process. What we see in our heads as a director may not be as good as what we actually get on set. So, that is something that I love about the process. Once you get everybody involved and work collaboratively with them, and you shoot that scene, and you're like, oh my God, that is, like twice as good as what I imagined, at least twice as good, which is actually absolutely incredible. And that's how art works. You just let it, you guide the process, but you let it happen, and it comes to life. And it's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. But I gotta say, talking about film school, and this career path, this is probably one of the most difficult things you could ever do. So
from a career standpoint, or from like
from a career standpoint, for a warning to those who are going to enter the industry, you've got to be patient. You've got to have undying passion, and you have to have tenacity. You just got to plow forward no matter what. It's one of the hardest things you can do. So
yeah, and I'm gonna learn that soon, man. I'm gonna learn that soon.
I saw that about you when we met on set, so I was very impressed with you.
What do you mean?
Well, we get PAs a lot. We get a lot of PAs that work on our sets, and I'll tell you, most of them are very, very impressive PAs, and you know that they're going to move forward. They're going to do something with their career. But some are just kind of, they don't really care. They're not sure. Not sure they want to be there. They're not sure they want to do it. They're not sure, and that's just not something. And they tend to be kind of Debbie Downer on set, and those are the ones we don't really want around. We want guys like you that really care.
Yeah, thank you.
Care about your own path, your own career, but also care about our film.
That's why I was trying to ask questions, because like I wanted to know what I was like contributing to.
Yeah, we love that. We love that. So when we have time, on a documentary interview set, we have time. We have plenty of time. Sometimes on the narrative stuff, on the scripted stuff, we are really freaking busy. The scripted stuff, which is what I love, that takes a lot, and that's when a PA should just sit back and watch. You can learn so much by just sit back and watching, and just shadowing somebody and and helping out all you can, you will learn so much, and you don't have to ask too many questions. If there's a chance to ask a question, do it, but try not to get in the way of the production.
Yeah.
On a scripted production.
Well, when the when you start, like, when are you gonna start filming your feature, the sci-fi
Departure?
film? Yeah, Departure. Like, when are you gonna start filming that? Because I definitely want to be there.
I'm hoping to do that as soon as we're done with The Real American. We start developing on that again, and hopefully it'll move pretty quickly.
So you shot like a little pre thing, like a little small short based on it.
Yeah, we call that a vertical slice, which is a 10-page slice out of the feature script. So a vertical slice is not quite a short film, because a short film is written, for itself. So in a short film, you would write 10 pages and that's your film. But a vertical slice my script is 120 pages. We took 10 pages out of that 120 pages and shot it. So it has a feature behind it. That's so when we submit to film festivals, and maybe some distributors or producers are at that film festival and they see the slice and they really like it, they want to talk to the filmmaker, then we'll be able to say this was a vertical slice of a feature script. Then you're ready to go. You're ready to go shoot your feature.
Yeah.
Let's talk. But if you shoot a short film, which is really good, and you submit it to film festivals and you win stuff, and the producers and distributors come and talk to you, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna work on the feature for this. I'm gonna start writing the feature for this. Oh, they'll be like, okay, fine. Call me back when you're done. And that may be a year later.
Yeah.
And they may not be interested anymore. You know what I'm saying? So what we like to do, and this is how we help others, whenever somebody comes to me and says, we want to shoot a short, I'm like, I try to convince them to write a feature first. They write the feature, they write a full feature script, and it doesn't have to be perfect. But once they've written their full feature script, we cut 10 pages and we shoot their slice, their vertical slice. I'm doing one I'm doing one right now. We're going into pre-production like next week.
So you do that for other people?
I'm doing this I'm directing this for a client of mine. So who did write a feature, and I have another client that we're also going to be shooting, and that's a Western. So
that's cool. You're doing a Western.
The one I'm starting next week is a sci-fi also, and then there's another Western, and then of course, we'll be doing Departure hopefully pretty soon. So yeah.
That's a cool service to offer though. Like, honestly, like I never heard of someone offering that service. Like, I'll shoot 10, you know what I mean? Like, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to waste people's money. Okay, so like this guy, it's a big, it's fairly a large amount of money for a short film, right? But if you just shoot a short film, a 10-minute film, it has no value. You can't sell a short film. Nobody buys short films. There are very few places that.
Unless David Lynch directs it.
Even if he directs it, okay, maybe if he directed, somebody would buy it. But, for a no-name writer and no-name director to direct a short film, nobody's going to buy it, right? So the only value you can get from that is as a pitch piece for your feature film.
Yeah.
So we try to get people not to shoot short films for the sake of shooting short films, unless it's their first time and they've never done anything before.
Yeah.
Like if you've never done anything, if you've never written anything, you've never shot anything, then okay, let's do one for practice. Just write 10 pages and we'll go shoot. We'll use cheap cameras. We'll have skeleton crew or minimal crew, and we'll do it for fun, right? But if you're gonna spend some money, write the feature for it. Doesn't cost you anything to write a feature film. As my client, if you're my client, it doesn't cost you anything to write a feature film, and your feature doesn't have to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
We can fix it. We can fix it along the way. We can fix it as we're developing it. But if we're gonna shoot something, let's use that to pitch something that has value. You know, if you're gonna spend money, because I've seen there's a lot of production companies out there that will go to people and take their money and shoot their short film, and the guy's happy. Yeah, it looks pretty. It's great, but nothing comes of it.
It's just a short film made and it's out.
Just a short film. They can submit it to film festivals, and they may win something, but nothing really comes of it. So let's do something with it.
Yeah.
You know, let's prepare before we make it. Right. Let's have the foundation ready before we make the film, so that we're ready to go and up and running once we're done. Instead of having to go back and redo everything and tell people we're not ready. And that's, the one thing, if you have a successful film, you want to let people know you're ready to go.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. That's what we do for our clients. With a few exceptions of people that really have never done anything, just want to learn.
Is there any other announcements about any films you got working on or any other projects you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
Yeah, so the film we're working on, the short film that we're working on next week, or we start working on next week, it's called Children of the Stars, written by Mutalib Ibrahim. He's the writer and creator. I'll be directing it. He will be one of the actors, one of the stars in the film, as well as being the writer and creator. And that is from a feature script. So we're gonna shoot that and get it out, probably the film festivals, and try and get traction on that. Other than that, we're really focused on completing The Real American, and please check out the trailer for that on the website. And then looking forward to starting Departure. I've got plenty of I've got 2 other feature scripts that we'll be working on after Departure, but we can talk about that another day. So
yeah, we will off camera. I'm gonna be calling you every day, every couple weeks, bro. I'm gonna check up on you. I love to talk to you more about just like films and stuff you're working on, because I see a lot of awesomeness in what you're making, and I'd love to be a part of it when I can.
I am glad you're part of it. So yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and obviously links in the description to any information on The Real American and also your production company and your social media. And thank you again for coming on the show.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. That was an episode of HASSDISCUSSES. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.